Hi, my name is Amanda Smythe. I am currently an employee with Franklin Templeton Investments in the Customer Operations Department. Today, I will be presenting a proposal for a consistent training program for both new and transfer associates. A little background on why I chose this for my final project. As being employed with Franklin Templeton for a little over 4 years and having gone through the classroom training, as well as have given the opportunity to mentor transfer associates, it will be less stressful and more beneficial for training coordinators, trainees, and even the mentors to have a consistent training program. So without further ado, here is my presentation. So this presentation will cover introduction of Franklin Templeton Investments, going over the opportunity, which will include the current situation, key success factors, analysis of alternatives, strategic solution options, then identifying the benefits and risks to Franklin Templeton, and finally offering a concrete recommendation for a new consistent training program. In 1992, Franklin acquired Templeton that caused an increase in volume, requiring hiring more associates to process requests by hiring a mass group of associates and providing a classroom training environment at once. This was a cheaper and more effective method. This process has been proven to be successful since inception, as the customer operations has had a low turnover rate. Now, almost 25 years later, as technology has evolved and workflows have been leaned out, making processing easier, and the training program is perhaps a little outdated. While there may be some hesitation on changing the training program since it has worked for so many years, there could possibly be a more efficient way. The current situation for new associates that are hired for the customer operations department is they get a month long of classroom setting training directed by training coordinators. Throughout this month long of classroom sessions, they go over various systems that are utilized, job duties, as well as workflows and procedures. In addition, new associates are given a general overview of every transaction type, regardless if it's even the specific team that they're assigned to. So the new hire class also varies on the number of how many associates there are, depending on how many positions are available. Once a new associate completes the training, they transition onto the floor where they begin processing. And for the next 3 months, they are placed on quality control, meaning everything they process is reviewed by a seasoned associate. It's a rather different training program when it comes to associates who transfer from another department. These transfer associates are given 1 hour of one-on-one training with their mentors just a few weeks before they're scheduled to transition. Then, once they transition to the department, they get a few days of one-on-one training with their mentor. After that, they only get a month of quality control that is reviewed by their mentor. Now let's go over some key success factors. Knowing your audience's learning style. To implement an effective training, understanding how adults acquire and process information is important. There are 4 main learning styles: visual, auditory, read-write, and kinesthetic. A University of Tennessee study showed that a blended learning program reduced both the time and the cost of training by more than 50%. So realistically speaking, if you have a training program that incorporates various ways of the content, you'll reach multiple associates who may have a diverse learning styles, which means the more associates will understand the content and raise the success rate of their training. Another key success factor is making sure the associates have all the tools needed. Stephanie Reyes stated that to make sure you develop good training material that incorporates sound adult learning principles and provides relevant content in a variety of formats to address various learning styles. This includes, but not limited to, having some face-to-face training, online learning sessions, small discussion groups. Now let's go over the analysis of alternatives. By having shortening classroom training time frame, as according to Malcolm Knowles, a person matures, his readiness to learn becomes oriented increasingly to the development tasks of his social role. By sitting in a classroom for a month learning about transaction types that don't particularly pertain to what the associate will be processing, those associates will become uninterested. Another alternative is to use more interactive methods in the classroom. According to the Business and Legal Resource, by keeping these trainees engaged and involved, breaks up the lecture and makes them more receptive to new information. There are various different activities that could be used, like small discussions, case studies, and active summaries. Another alternative is providing printouts that can be used as reference. The printouts can be screenshots of various processing steps, guidelines, and anything else that the associate may need to complete the task. By associates having something in their fingertips to refer back to in processing, allows them to be more independent, while also building that confidence that they need to complete the item on their own. This is also a low costing, as the materials can be made through various computer programs, like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. Next, let's go over the strategic solution options. Having a computer-based training is, as technology is constantly developing, allowing for companies to use more customized design programs. Computer-based training allows for the associates to review modules that provide the content needed for their job. There's even some programs that are virtual reality, giving the associate more real-life experience, while not having the actual risk of performing the task. These types of programs are easy to maintain while keeping up workflows and procedures that are constantly being leaned out. In addition, these programs can be used worldwide, keeping training costs low. Another solution option is off-site training by a third party. By hiring another company to train associates, it takes the pressure off training coordinators and mentors and puts it all on the vendor. When the associate has completed the training program, they should be ready to start processing with minimum questions, allowing for the seasoned associates to continue working. This option could be effective and less stressful. However, it could be a little more costly. And then the last solution is classroom training. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even though this is the current training program, it's still an option to keep implemented. A classroom training allows for that face-to-face interaction with associates and training coordinator, giving a first impression of the company and the department. Lastly, since it's not being held off-site, it's a little more cost-effective. Implementing a new training program will offer Franklin Templeton Investments several benefits, like having a consistent training program. When having the same program for all associates, it makes it easier for all involved, as everyone will know where they are at each stage. There is a clear timeline set in place, so the associate knows what is expected and the mentors can work with them to help achieve this goal. Also, a shorter time frame for associates to start producing. Knowing that most employees hate going through training, as they feel most training wastes their time, doesn't help them with their job better, is poorly constructed or badly delivered. So by having a shorter time frame, permits the associate to start processing and assist with handling volumes. In turn, this means that Franklin Templeton Investments will start profiting from their associates. And lastly, cost effective. There's various costs with hiring an associate. So to companies, all associates are an investment, not only as a monetary value, but also time. In shortening the timeline and choosing a training program that encourages associates will save money and time. Lastly, the risks. Franklin Templeton must be prepared for potential risks with implementing a new training program. First one is not abiding by the SEC regulations. So Franklin Templeton Investments has rules and regulations that they must abide by that are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC. One of them in particular is Rule 1780-2, which of the Securities Act of 1934, which states that every registered transfer agent shall turn around within 3 business days of receipt at least 90% of all routine items received for transfer during a month. As you can see in Figure 2 shows the average incoming mail received on a daily basis. Given this information shows that Monday and Friday have the highest volume. And according to the SEC Rule 1780-2, Tuesday and Wednesday are the busiest days of the week. Another risk is less productive and more errors. It's natural for associates to make errors. We're all human. Even your most seasoned associates will make an error or two throughout a fiscal year. But when an associate doesn't understand the procedures and processing, it may take them longer, meaning less productive and making more errors. As if the mentor is spending more time than allotted for, or constantly being interrupted, they too could potentially make an error. It's stated that personal coaching can be disruptive to the coach's productivity. Now for the final recommendation. So despite the risk of having a consistent, updated training program for the customer operations department would be beneficial to not only the company, but also the associates. To ensure the success of each associate while taking advantage of the benefits and reducing the risk, Franklin Templeton must implement the improved training programs strategically by following these recommendations. New and transfer associates get the same training time frame by offering 2 weeks of classroom training. That's right, keeping the classroom training. It's condensed, but the training classroom will allow enough time for the training coordinator to cover a general overview of job duties, workflows, procedures, and various systems used throughout the division. During these 2 weeks, the training coordinator could also incorporate PowerPoint presentations, discussions, case studies, as these are all cost-effective methods. After, the trainee will sit with their mentor for 3 days. To help the trainee become more successful, receiving that one-on-one time with their mentor is vital. This allows an accurate demonstration of the systems being used in the processing mode, or real life. Also, it permits the mentor to share best practices with the trainee to help them succeed. In addition, this is also a great opportunity for any questions that the trainee may have while going through the processing. Next, the trainee will drive at their desk for 2 days. By research shows that majority of adults learn from hands-on experience. This will subject the trainee to work through the process on their own with help, will help them better grasp them steps. Lastly, they'll receive a month of quality control to ensure that they're processing everything correctly. This will be done by their mentor, and it will cut out potential errors and give the mentor also an opportunity for additional coaching. The mentor will also be able to provide support and encouragement in hopes of them gaining more confidence. Thank you everyone allowing me to present this proposal. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks.